In a battle between a couple of red-hot teams right now. Illinois at 10-3. They've won 6 in a row against 12-1 Maryland. They've won 5 straight. I'm Mark Jones, courtside along with Dan Dakich. Thanks for joining us. This is the regular season opener in conference play for both these teams. And one of the storylines for the Maryland Terrapins, they are down a couple of bigs in this ball game. Michael Tchaikovsky and Demonte Dodd both out with respective leg injuries and ankle injuries. Herder from deep. And one and done at the offensive end. Nice rebound by Mike Thorne.
Yeah, Mark, we're going to see some of that. We're going to see a lot of threes. We're going to see a lot of driving. Melo Trimble trying to get to the line. There really isn't anywhere for Maryland to go on the block.
Got a quick timeout as Illinois player blew a tire to get his shoe back on. Illinois coming off a win against Missouri in their last game.
That's a tough crowd, Mark. They're booing a guy putting his shoe on. Are we in Philly?
Jalen Coleman-Lands getting a little early heat here from the crowd at the Xfinity Center. There's Hill, the team's leading scorer. Malcolm Hill averaging a little over 18 points per game. Black off the mark with the mid-range jump shot. This is a team, Illinois, that's been shooting the ball very well from the edges. A whistle and a foul going to be called as Anthony Cowan went to the roll hold.
You know, on the other end, Herder, a freshman and a skinny freshman, is considered the best defensive player by Mark Turgeon. I think his defensive prowess surprised Mark and his staff, and he's on Hill. Now, you got to remember, Hill's a guy, 1,400 career points. He's been scoring since he arrived on campus as a 17-year-old.
Pretty daunting assignment for the freshman. Maryland starts 3 of them. That's one of them. Justin Jackson, the 6'7" frosh out of Toronto.
Yeah, he's just really good. I mean, he looks the part. Broad shoulders, long arms, can shoot the basketball. You see his ability to get by.
Abrams off the dribble. Triple teamed. And that's going to be a traveling violation against the Illini.
Abrams is about 25 years old.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. Over here, it's Maryland 2-0 off a bucket a moment ago by Justin Jackson, one of 3 freshmen that start this year for Maryland. That's one of the prevailing storylines coming into this conference opener for both these teams. Maryland down a couple of big men as Melo Trimble going to have to do a lot more of the offensive heavy lifting in this ball game. Dodd and Tchaikovsky not playing today because of respective injuries. Tchaikovsky on the sidelines in a boot. And that's going to be a traveling violation. Actually a clear-out offensive foul against Illinois, against Mike Thorne. Pardon me, Black.
Yeah, Black took his right arm and just leveled the defender. You know, interesting thing about this game, you mentioned 3 freshmen starting for Maryland. You've got 2 sixth-year seniors starting for Illinois. You've got the oldest team in the league against arguably the youngest team in the league to start the season.
Always makes coaches a little bit nervous when you got freshmen out there.
Well, you've got, Thorne's 6th year. He transferred from Charlotte. You've got Abrams, who we'll talk about, has had 2 major knee surgery and an Achilles. And then the kid with the ball, Malcolm Hill, he's been starting since he got here as a 4th-year senior.
Thorne kicks it out to Hill. They swing it around weak side. 12 on the shot clock. Thorne working hard now. He steps out to set the ball screen. 5 on the shot clock. Long jumper short. Jalen Tate got it back and got packed inside. Loose ball, the Illini come up with it. Thorne didn't know what to do initially and missed a wild spinning hook. A whistle. It'll be Illinois basketball. There's a look at the injured big men. Tchaikovsky actually played in their previous game against Charlotte. Don has been missed his 5th consecutive game tonight with a knee injury. Herder stepped out of bounds for the Terps a moment ago, thus Illinois basketball. Illinois with great perimeter shooting coming from Abrams in particular this year. But Dan, they like to play inside out.
Well, they start the game throwing it inside. You see 2 straight possessions awful by not throwing it inside.
Wow, boy, Cowan with a great reverse layup with the left hand. One of those 3 freshmen that starts for Maryland. Anthony Cowan averaging almost 11 points per contest. And John Gross, the head coach of Illinois, gets a couple of guys up off of his bench. Maverick Morgan and Michael Finke. That baseline jumper good. Smooth looking stroke by Jalen Coleman-Lands. Arguably one of the top shooters in the conference.
Well, that was sweet action right there. They just ran Lands off of a off of a baseline screen. John Gross likes to do that little triangle action. Took his best shooter, ran him off the baseline, and Coleman-Lands, who has been struggling with a hand injury, his numbers are down, but he has a smooth stroke. He doesn't miss much. When he gets a good look, it's over. I mean, it's just straight over.
Trimble out top. Trimble, the most dynamic player and prolific player on this Maryland team, dribbles it out of bounds, and a turnover against the junior who thought better of not going pro last year. Was told by the evaluators that he'd be better off staying in school for another year. Averaging just under 18 points per game. Cowan, good ball pressure. Hill on the wing. Morgan on the pick and pop and knocks down the mid-range.
Confidence is unbelievable. Maverick Morgan has been the best player for Illinois over the last 2 games. 2 straight double-doubles, big shots late against BYU and against Mizzou, and he comes in and knocks it out.
Yeah, he had 19 and 11 in that border war against Missouri. Just underway here in College Park, Maryland. We'll be back right after this. Here in College Park, Maryland, you're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. Mark Jones courtside along with Dan Dockage, a couple of red-hot teams on respective winning streaks, and this the conference opener. We talked about Maryland's adversity. Melo Trimble, though, one of 2 of the top 5 scorers in the conference on display here tonight.
Well, Melo Trimble has been great late in almost every close game for Maryland. He took over the second half last week against Charlotte, did it a number of times, including against Richmond and for Illinois. Look, Malcolm Hill is tremendous. You see him right there at 18 points a game. He has come in here since he was a freshman and been very effective. Malcolm Hill, Melo Trimble, they both get to the foul line. Look for that in this game. Who gets to the foul line more may lead his team to a win.
A big year for Illinois. They have not made it to the NCAA tournament in the last 3 consecutive years. They've shown a lot of resilience here in the early part of the college basketball season. Rebounding well from a 3-game losing streak, albeit 2 of those losses were against ranked opponents. And bounce back and now winners of 6 straight. Melo Trimble on a nice looking foray to the bucket.
That's just, there's nothing you can do. Melo Trimble is really strong in the hips and in the lower body, and he just went at Jalen Tate. Nothing Tate could do.
Trimble, the lone returning starter from the Sweet 16 team a season ago. Long jumper no good by Tracy Abrams. And a whistle underneath, a foul going to go against Maryland. Well, tomorrow we'll have 3 more bowl games for you on ESPN. We'll start with the New Era Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium between Pitt and Northwestern at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Then at 5:30, the Russell Athletic Bowl between West Virginia and Miami. And we'll wrap it all up with Texas A&M, Kansas State, and the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl. All 3 games streaming live on the ESPN app and also on Watch ESPN. It's been a long time since Miami Hurricanes won a bowl game. As Mark Rick takes the reins of that program. Morgan inside, a nice looking post up, everything but the bucket dink.
Well, he just got a little bit too far under, but a really nice post feed led Morgan to his right shoulder.
Pocket pass off the mark. Abrams in a rush the other way. Oh, and got it packed. Great defense by L.G. Gill.
I'm telling you, this kid Gill has to play for Maryland in this game. He has to be a force. He's a 10-point-a-game scorer, number 10 for Maryland. 10-point-a-game scorer, 5th-year senior.
Up and down they go.
5th-year senior, played for Duquesne last year, had 10 points a game, has not been able to get going at all.
Yeah, boy, you talk about a picture-perfect chase down block by L.G. Gill.
He's a veteran kid. You see, he's sprinting the floor, doesn't sulk, doesn't hang his head, and makes a terrific block. He's made as many as 6 threes in a game last year for Duquesne, and this year, nothing. And when I say nothing, I'm talking about no baskets, 1 3 on the entire year. He's a kid that has an opportunity because of injury in this game.
He's from Chesterfield, Virginia, a guy that has a little history with Melo Trimble. He actually beat Trimble's O'Connell High School team for the 2013 Virginia State High School title. The free throw, Maryland leading by 4.
This is nothing new, but 10 minutes to go in the game was when Malcolm Hill scored his first bucket. He ended up with 21 against Missouri. He's a patient kid, but they've got to run some stuff to get him a shot.
Double team coming on the post up. A whistle and a foul are going to be called. Looks like they're going to get Gill. That's his first personal foul.
Well, Mark, that should never happen. When you post double, the big guy takes the shoulder opposite of the guard that's coming down to double, and you lock the offensive player up. That time, Gill got too close to the guy doing the doubling, and on the spin, he was late and fouled.
And he'll go to the bench as a result. 14 minutes to go in the first half. Another post up, this one for Mike Thorne. Nice looking jump hook, left it short. But another possession to the Illini. Lands inside, that pass a little bit high.
Pass a little bit ridiculous. He just had to go take that jump shot. Thorne was nowhere near ready.
Cowan, nice dime to Bender.
Hey, Mark, that's a matter of Cowan staying with the play and competing, and his defender relaxing. Cowan only a freshman, though, but man, did he recognize when his defender just relaxed. You're going to see it right here. Watch the defender kind of come out on Cowan, kind of slow, bad form. Cowan made him pay.
Courtside along with Dan Dockich. Maryland with an early 6-point lead. See what Illinois runs coming out of the timeout. Hill has been conspicuous by his offensive silence so far. As you noted, Dan, a guy that lets the game come to him. Nice rebound underneath by Finke. And then the pass into the front room.
What a great... This is the third time now that Maryland's guards have done a great job after an offensive board. They're not standing around watching. They are coming. They are double teaming. They are trapping the offensive rebounder, not letting him get up. One time it was a turn. 2 times it's been a turnover.
And Wiley drills the 3. The lead ballooning to 9 on this 9-0 run. It's a Maryland team that at times has shown a proclivity to shoot a little too many three-pointers for their head coach Mark Turgeon's likings. Under 13 minutes to go. Finke losing the handle. Terps with numbers. Cowan at the other end. Brantley with the putback. One of the little guy flexing underneath Dan.
Yeah, no, he came and he stayed with the play. Nobody came to help. And he was able to get it in the crowd.
At the other end, Malcolm Hill drawing the foul. He'll go to the free throw line for a pair, but Maryland up double figs early here in this ball game. Mark Turgeon's team going to the Sweet 16 a season ago, guiding the Terps to the first one since 2003. He's 1-2 career-wise against Illinois as Hill knocks down the foul shot. Hill a 78% free throw shooter. Justin Jackson checking in for Maryland. Saw Jackson get an early bucket underneath a couple of minutes ago. One of those impressive freshmen for Mark Turgeon.
You know, if you're Maryland, you're getting anything you want if you move the ball side to side. And anytime the ball has been moved from left to right, back to right to left, all of a sudden you're in the lane, like right there. They moved the ball over here, they took it back. Next thing you know, defense spread out, quickness wins.
Hey, Dan, a 13-1 run for Maryland, and right now Melo Trimble getting a breather too. That's a good thing for the Terps. Thorne had it knocked out of his hands, out of bounds.
Maryland's being really smart. You can guard Coleman Lands by not leaving him. You can guard Malcolm Hill by taking your big and extending all the ball screens, making Hill play out at 29, 30 feet. Maryland's doing a great job following the scouting report. That's the scouting report on Illinois. And then make Thorne beat you inside one-on-one. Now, Maverick Morgan, you may need a double, but not Thorne, not this game.
Terps down a couple of big guys. Only Dobb, 6'11" senior, out with an injury, missing his 5th consecutive game, as is Michael Tchaikovsky. But so far, so good for Maryland. Hill trying to heat up and knocks down his first long-range J.
Yeah, he's been open off penetration. No one's been able to find him. That time, Coleman Lands found Hill, and Hill was able to shoot in rhythm with no pressure.
42% three-point shooter. Bender with a dribble handoff to Wiley. Boy, Cowan plays with pretty good poise for a freshman, doesn't he?
He really does. He sees the floor well, keeps his dribble.
Nice show and go by Brantley. The jumper a little strong.
See, the ball stopped, though. The ball was moving early in that position. Then all of a sudden, Cowan backed it out. And when it stops, Illinois is a pretty good defensive team.
Hill and one. Well, they're going to wave it off. But a great slick move anyway by Hill. We're going to take a timeout and a huge women's run coming up. We'll have a little peek at Maryland UConn on the other side of this. Big game coming up with the women. Maryland hosting UConn. Kara Lawson takes a peek.
The two keys for Maryland to pull the upset over UConn, they're seniors. Senior post player Brianna Jones. She has to dominate the paint and not be exposed when UConn runs their motion offense on the defensive end. For Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, the wing, she's going to have to make tough twos. UConn's so sound on the defensive end, you have to have a player step up and make big-time plays in the perimeter. Walker-Kimbrough is that for the Terps.
A couple of undefeated teams, Dan.
Yeah, okay. Only way Maryland wins that game is if UConn's bus breaks down.
Oh, come on.
UConn's not losing anybody. Come on.
The ghost of Christy Tolliver lives here in Maryland, okay?
That's great. She's not walking through that door. UConn is unbelievable what they're able to do.
Year to year. And the Freeze might have a few tricks up her sleeve on this one.
Herder did a great job. That was exactly what I was talking about.
Brantley fills the lane for the layup.
Brantley ran second time. Brantley's run. Herder made the defensive play, got out in transition. What a play by the freshman.
Quick trigger on the other side by Illinois' Jalen Coleman Lands. And Jackson clears for Maryland. And that foul is going to go against Malcolm Hill.
Yeah, I want to draw. I'm in a battle with our producer. Look at his defense. Look, now all of a sudden here comes a double. Herder gets to that side. See, he's on the baseline side because the help came from the middle. What a great job by Herder. And then he leads in transition, makes the perfect pass from the free throw line. So many kids over penetrate. He got the ball, took it down, got to the foul line, made his play. That was a heck of a play.
That former Mr. Basketball in the state of New York last year. Boy, what a move by Melo Trimble. Biggest lead of the ball game now for the Terps, standing at 13.
All right, let me ask you a question, Mark. You cover NBA games. If you're a guard in the NBA, you've got to be a great layup shooter, right? You have to make layups, tough layups.
It's got to be part of the repertoire.
And that's where I think Trimble can play. Trimble is a great layup shooter. He keeps his chin on the rim, finds the rim, plays through contact.
A really good, tough shot maker and finish through contact a lot of times. Abrams on the baseline, pushed out of bounds by Justin Jackson. Well, our bowl quadruple header continues tonight, right here on ESPN with Minnesota and Washington State in the National Funding Holiday Bowl at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we wrap up the day with the Boise State and Baylor matchup in the Motel 6 Cactus Bowl at 10:15 p.m. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Corner jumper a little bit short by Abrams. You don't already know Abrams' story. Yeah, that's a missed jump shot, but a win for him just to be on the court playing right now. A whistle and a foul going to go against the Illini. Folks, listen to this compelling and riveting story of perseverance. Tracy Abrams, 2 years ago, blew out his knee, torn ACL, arduously rehabbed it, methodically got right. And then 2 practices into the following year, after he finally was ready to play, tore his Achilles tendon and then missed another full year of basketball. Then went through the rehab process again and fastidiously got back onto the court. And you talk about a guy that has paid his dues both on the court, in rehab as Jackson gets the basket, and in the classroom, Dan.
He's going to finish with 2 master's degree, an undergraduate degree. Probably his grandchildren by now. He's 25 years old. But, you know, I talked to Adam Fletcher. This is the guy. He has to be able to make that shot for this team.
Good point.
I talked to Adam Fletcher, the weight coach. He said he worked out 350 out of 365 days. He missed 15 days, and those days were rest days. He said he'd never seen anything like Tracy Abrams' work ethic. Went from 15% body fat to 6.
So he pretty much had to shut him down just for his own good.
Right.
Pretty inspiring story. Trimble with the mid-range, nothing but net. Melo Trimble starting to heat up. He's got 6.
Well, they went to zone, second possession in a row. Illinois went to zone, which was pretty good. Maryland struggled against Charlotte in the first half against Charlotte's zone, but high ball screen, Trimble going where he wants is bad business for Illinois. They've got to trap Trimble against him when they're playing zone, not let him be the guy.
Coleman lands, passes it back out in a bad miss by LeBron Black. Jackson has been working hard to find his way out of a shooting slump. Kicks it back out to Trimble. They'll run a set. Under 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Big Ten opener for both Maryland and Illinois. Part of a group of teams that come after that Purdue and Indiana, Wisconsin troika. Nice board underneath by your guy, L.G. Gill. He's been active.
Yeah, he has, and that's what he has to be.
Jackson with some action for you.
Man, there's nothing not to like about this kid, Mark. This kid has size. This kid plays with his head up. He's got savvy. Justin Jackson just splits 1, 2, 3 guys. Goes to the left hand. Terrific freshman for the Terps.
New Year's Eve, Washington, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. Tell you what, those SEC teams, man, in Alabama, it's a line of scrimmage game, and they are 3 deep at every spot on the defensive and offensive line. Quarterbacking weak in the SEC, but it's still tough to pick against Alabama.
You know, it's interesting. Alabama always wins. They always are in this. They're always in the picture, but they never, other than McCarron, have had a quarterback that I'm not even sure has made the NFL, have they?
I can't think of one.
I know it. This kid's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hurts. So is Thorne.
Yeah, Thorne with a nice looking jump hook. That ends the Illinois scoring drought.
Well, that should be a staple. I mean, that's what Illinois needs to do. They have the advantage. 3 guys can come in, throw it inside, and figure it out later.
Bender sets the ball screen for Herder, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Ivan Bender.
That wasn't Bender's fault. Bender was coming out there. Herder needed to just wait and let Bender get set. So many times, and Bender's got to come out, but you have to wait here. You're going to see Bender coming right here. Well, I don't know what that is, but you're going to see Bender coming right to the top of the key, and you have to wait. You have to let Bender get set and then run the defensive man guarding the ball into Bender.
Well, Illinois, a team that averages almost 80 points a game, struggling right now. I mean, it has been laborious at the offensive end with just 12 points so far. Jackson from deep. And coming back the other way. Tough shot, a forced one by Thorne.
He can't play in traffic. He can play one-on-one, go to his left shoulder, but it's a skill to be able to play in traffic, and he just doesn't have that skill.
Back out to Trimble with 15 on the clock. Trimble bounced it off his foot, another turnover by him. And Illinois basketball. Maverick Morgan coming to the ball game for head coach John Gross as Thorne sits down.
Yeah, if I'm Illinois, this ball's going into Morgan for the rest of this half. Morgan has shown himself throughout the season and even earlier in the game to be a pretty good passer out of double teams. He's much more comfortable in traffic. And, quite frankly, he just missed a layup. I mean, he made one, missed one, but it's got to go to him the rest of the half.
Foul line jumper, no good, but a foul going to be called on Herder on the Hill pull. And Malcolm Hill will go to the free throw line for a pair. He's a 78% free throw shooter. Scored in double figures 11 out of 13 games so far this year. And a career high 40 against Northern Kentucky back on November the 13th. More subs coming into the ball game for the Illini. Black comes in. And boy, that was a quick shift by Maverick Morgan.
Well, he's going a little offense-defense with Maverick. He's got 2 fouls, so they're trying to use him on the offensive end. The problem they're having, obviously, Illinois isn't scoring offensively, but they're getting absolutely nothing out of their defense. They're not kicking the ball up. They're not keeping the guys in front of them. They're not able to get stops, get out of transition.
Trimble to Jackson. Herder with the ball fake, 10 on the clock. Deep into the shot clock, 6 to go. Cowan. And Gill with the punch. Boy, good patience by the Terps.
I was just going to say, Mark, patience by everybody, Cowan included. He didn't rush that ball screen. He just waited. Next thing you know, guy's open.
A whistle and a foul going to go against Maryland. That foul against Jackson. One more look at that last sequence.
Well, you see balls. You see how patient. Wait. They made a switch. Illinois did. Coleman Lands did not make the switch properly. He got his feet messed up. And the freshman Cowan he just waited, made the play.
Meanwhile, LeRon Black at the foul line. A 79% free throw shooter. Knocks down the first.
Mark, in basketball, you hold the ball for a 2 count. Meaning, okay, if I know you're open in the corner, as soon as I get it, I fire it to you, you're wide open. If nobody's open immediately, if I hold the ball for a 2 count, 2 seconds is just long enough to allow somebody to get open, whether it's off a ball screen or it's off of, I've got the ball on top and somebody's running off a baseline screen. And Cowan understands that really well.
This time of the year, Dan, you know better than anybody. In college basketball, you never know what you're going to get because guys have just finished coming back from eating a lot of turkey at Christmas time, visiting their families. Nickens with the long jumper rims out. Your practice time has been irregular and Finn's a little frenetic right now.
Right to your point. Right to your point. But I know this. I know that Maryland came back after a game last Tuesday. Came back on Christmas Day. Had 2 practices to get ready for this game. But
good find and one. Gill again. Took the hit and finished.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice pass from our guy Cowan, the freshman. Who looks like he's 10 years old. Watch this. He's going to beat everybody. Beats Hill. Help comes, delivers it perfectly. And Gill, who has, as you said, Mark, really active, he finishes through contact. Again, this is an experienced kid, Gill, who is needed today, and he's delivered.
Yeah, putting up some pretty good numbers. Productive tonight. BLG, by the way, folks, stands for Little Gill. His dad, Charles Sr., is BG, Big Gill. I don't know what Big Gill looks like if Little Gill is 6'8".
But that's going to be Little Gangster. Like, isn't OG old gangster?
Yeah. Gill misses the free throw.
Consider you and I to be OGs.
Oh, we go way back, that's for sure. We got a different demographic. Baseline jumper off the mark, and it's 1 and done at the offensive end. Illinois just 5 of 23 from the field.
That's a pretty good look. You're talking about a guy shooting 59% from the three-point line, and Tracy Abrams. That's 2 really good looks for him. He hasn't been inside the rim.
Maryland has been impressive so far here in the first half. Under 4 minutes to go. Oh, that was a double dribble, yeah.
That was a nice play by Hill. Hill faked it, faked it Nickens. Nickens was going to make the play, couldn't do it. Yeah, whatever happened to Hoop Scoop?
Oh, boy. Hey, you know, Maryland, Dan, without their bigs today, but still getting it done inside.
Well, because of this right here, everybody is driving. It's not just Trimble, who we think of as a driver. You saw Justin Jackson there, and you see guys running the floor. Brantley has 4 points. He's the littlest guy on the court. Look at the patience here. This is so nice. Gill has been a big-time lift with a couple bigs hurt. Hey, you ever, I talk about this all the time. Chris Cotter was in the studio, is like the world's strongest man.
Pretty jacked.
Oh, my goodness.
Hill with the pull-up jump shot, knocks it down. Nice sequence coming out of the timeout. Hill with 8 points to lead the way so far for the Fighting Illini, but down by 13. They've trailed from the opening tip.
Well, that's his Kobe move. You know, Kobe had that spot. That's his spot. Hill does anything he can to get to the elbows, and it doesn't matter how you defend it. He's going to get a good look.
Cowan out top with 10 on the shot clock. Kick out to Melo Trimble. Boy, another bucket for Melo.
And another great pass from Cowan off of fantastic patience. He waited. Trimble's man lost himself. Hill, next thing you know, bucket.
And Morgan draws the foul from Gill underneath.
Mark, this is sweet. This is really sweet. You see the roll. Now, you see Malcolm Hill, 21, just gets lost. Trimble recognized it, moved into the open spot, and Cowan found him. What a fun guy to play with, Cowan.
Cowan, a freshman with poise beyond his years. As Morgan knocks down the foul shot, a 64% free throw shooter. Daniel, what do you make of his game? You're familiar with him going back to his AAU days.
Yeah, I coached him for 3 years. Confidence is such a big thing. And you know what? He's decided he can make a little money at basketball, Maverick Morgan, and John Gross told us he's playing that way. He's vocal. Mark, it's amazing. You can't play basketball or any sports dull. You've got to have personality. You've got to have energy. You've got to have life to you. And Morgan decided this year he was going to bring a more vocal approach, and it's worked out.
Brantley from deep.
Oh, man.
So the zone defense that time getting a stop for the Fighting Illini. Drive and a wild shot by Jalen Tate. Well, tonight after the Cactus Bowl, stick around for SportsCenter at Night with Neil Everett. He'll have all the highlights from all the bowl games, as well as the NBA, NHL, college buckets, NFL news, and everything else from your Tuesday. SportsCenter at Night after Boise State Baylor on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN.
We all know Scott Van Pelt is the modern-day Johnny Carson, but I got to tell you, Neil Everett to me is the funniest guy doing SportsCenter. Every time I watch a Neil Everett, I start laughing at something. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
So Scott Van Pelt, Maryland grad, by the way, is Johnny Carson. Who's his Ed McMahon? Brantley with the bucket.
Stanford Steve.
Oh, okay.
Look at Brantley. Brantley's got 3 layups, smallest guy in the court, and shot a 3 that almost broke the backboard.
Melo Trimble back the other way. They got numbers, and now Illinois back on defense.
Pretty smart by Trimble. How many times have you seen guys go ahead and force that? NBA, you can force it, might get it in, but Trimble pretty smart.
Trimble first team all-conference preseason. Cowan behind the screen by Gill. Maryland by 17 here in the first half. Abrams, boy, for a guy that came into the ball game red hot from downtown, Been a tough time for him. Good ball fake by Hill. Boy, the degree of difficulty was about a 9-5, and he got it to fall. Abrams, meanwhile, his partner in the backcourt, 0 for 5 on threes tonight. Well, the Big Ten season beginning in earnest, and we take a look at some of the storylines. Dan, what do you make of the class of the conference? Indiana, Purdue, Wisconsin.
Well, I think they've proven themselves. Nigel Hayes, to me, is fantastic, but Ethan Happ's been the guy. Michigan State, I was texting with Tom Izzo. He thinks they're going to be fine once they get healthy. Peter Jock needs some help. And I do believe the Cook kid is going to be tremendous for Iowa.
And good starts for these two teams.
Yeah, you know, Steve Pickle has come in and he's taught defense to Rutgers.
Yeah.
Rutgers last year was giving up 81 points a game. This year they're at 60. Now they got tough tests today. They're going to have a tough test every day. Haven't really played the best schedule, but he's got them playing the way a team that's coached should play. I always felt like, this is going to offend Eddie Jordan. I always felt like Eddie Jordan was just a guy on a job. He wasn't really coaching the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Didn't quite work out the way that they thought it would when the former graduate of Rutgers was hired. This game part of 4 on ESPN2 as Big Ten play begins in earnest. Here's Cowan out top. Under a minute to go here in the first half. Remember, Cowan actually started the Under Armour All-American camp this past summer. Did a nice job under the tutelage of our very own Fran Fraschilla, who was out there coaching and directing traffic and instructing on drills. And Steph Curry. Under 20 seconds to go. Slight difference between the shot and game clock. Hill with a strong take and the bucket. He's got 12 to lead the way. 8 seconds to go. Nice ball fake. And the 3 is good by Brantley. What a way to punctuate, to put an exclamation mark on a very prolific first half for Maryland. They lead by 16 at the break.
Ooh, I got to tell you, if you were allowed to yell at players, the locker room would be insane in Illinois because this was just lazy. This was lazy and then bad technique coming out on Brantley. John Gross ought to unload on his team here at half.
Maryland leading by 16 points as they try to end Illinois' 6-game winning streak. Right now, back to the studio. A look at the Lincoln Memorial, about 8 miles away down the road from College Park, Maryland. The Maryland Terps leading 39-23. Mark Jones courtside along with Dan Dakich. Interesting start for the Terps, who went 12-6 last year in conference play. This the conference opener for both these teams. Melo Trimble, the lone remaining starter back from a season ago, hasn't skipped a beat, Dan.
No, he hasn't, but these clowns behind us sure have. I don't know what they're trying to get done. But Melo Trimble, look, Maryland right now is 14 from 19 from twos, and it's because of things like this. Melo Trimble has been able to get in the lane. But you know what? So has Jalen Brantley. So has Anthony Cowan. This is what Maryland has been really good at. Trimble's been the leader, but everybody has gotten into the lane. Look at that two-point shooting. When you can get in the lane, you're getting a lot of layups, you're getting a lot of floaters, you're getting a lot of shots that kids can make, and Melo Trimble et al. Have been exceptionally good at dissecting the Illinois defense.
Guy that thought about turning pro a season ago decided to come back for another season here in College Park. Things working out so far. 13 games into the season as Maryland comes in 12-1. Winners of 5 in a row. Illinois, they've won 6 straight at 10-3. And conspicuous by his silence in the first half, this guy with the ball, Tracy Abrams for the Fighting Illini. Their leading scorers did not make a 3-ball in the first half on 5 attempts. Down on the block to Black. And off the mark.
Yeah, but you can live with that. You know, Black right on the rim. He just went right over Jackson. You can live with that type of thing. Another layup.
Bender with the layup off the great feed from Trimble. And now the biggest lead of the ball game for Maryland at 18.
Maryland well coached. from the ball handler's standpoint to take their time on the high ball screen and just find the right person. Sometimes the right person is opposite, and they've done a good job of finding it.
Abram inside. Mike Thorne going to work. He likes that left shoulder move, Dan. You pointed out several times.
Yeah, he cannot be allowed. Bender's missing the scouting report. Left shoulder is where Thorne likes to go. If you make him go to his right shoulder, he might fall down. In fact, he has earlier today. Same thing here. Look at opposite.
Nice cross-court skip pass. A good closeout by Hill. 12 on the clock for Trimble. Bender with the ball screen. Now he slips it. Herder from deep. Strong rebound inside by Jackson.
I happened to be watching Jackson, and I was watching Black. Shot went up. Black's head went immediately to the rim, Mark. Jackson's head went and looked for the ball and then went to the right spot.
Jackson guarding Black right now. Comes up with the block. Goes to Hill. Abrams from downtown. Still can't find the mark from deep.
Everyone has hit the front of the rim. He's 0 for 6, all on the front of the rim. Hey, look, Moses Malone once said, go after every rebound on the offensive board so you can get a couple. Well, there's Jackson right there. There's a little bit of a block out. Thorne goes to the same man, and Jackson just beats them both. Thorne stayed out. Black blocked out. Thorne's man, no communication. Jackson gets to the back.
Jackson played on Canada's under-19 team that finished 5th in the 2015 FIBA World Championships. That jumper no good. And a strong board underneath by Thorne.
That's bad possession. You don't see that very often out of Maryland. You don't see bad decisions out of Cowan very often, but that was there. They didn't let the offense go at all.
Jalen Lands knocks down the jump shot.
You do a million games. You do NBA games. Isn't it amazing? You take a bad shot on one end, and honest to goodness, the other end, they always score.
Yeah, it's like the basketball gods are saying you shouldn't have done that.
Right. We're going to teach you a lesson.
Trimble couldn't get the pocket pass through to Bender. Shot clock running down to 11. Herder with a skip pass. Jackson for 3.
See, in that time, Herder on the offensive backboard just ran at the rim. He didn't look at the ball at all and just jumped, touched the rim instead of finding the ball and going to get it.
Hill, little bully ball against Herder. Herder not trying to play that. Like somebody was about to get chin checked on that. Trying to start a little something. Illinois trying to get back into this game.
Now this is just a senior saying, I'm backing down a freshman. And I'll tell you what, the freshman is giving no inches. He's not afraid at all, Herder.
I thought I heard Hill say weight room to Herder.
Maybe that was you.
Well, tried to body him up again.
That's his shot.
Oh, they gave it to him. He gave it to him, Dan Dockich, ultimately. 14 for their leading scorer, Malcolm Hill.
Tell you what,
that seemed personal.
He was not. I was just going to say he was not passing that ball. Mark, he got the ball, went right to his spots. Said, "The heck with you." Probably a little different language than that, but
Jackson and 1.
You like him, don't you, Jackson?
Yeah, good-looking player out of Toronto, Ontario.
What's not to like? 6'8", 6'9", can handle the ball, crosses over. Again, keeps his chin right there on the rim, draws contact, plays through it. What's not? Look at that body for a freshman in college.
Wow. Was initially committed to UNLV before head coach Dave Rice was not retained. And good hustle, careening right into our table here courtside. And, you know, Dan, I don't feel like taking this new Calvin Klein to the cleaners. It got kind of frightening as Hill came storming into our table.
I'm not afraid to take this Marshalls to the cleaners, I'll tell you that. I got off the rack wash and wear right here, baby.
16-point lead. Hustle though by Hill. He's the one guy that's shown a lot of signs of life in this ball game for Illinois. Bender underneath. Boy, what a great dime by Trimble.
That was sweet. That was all set up for Bender. He came out to set a ball screen. He faked it, went back in the middle of the lane, And Trimble knew exactly where he was.
Yeah. Maverick inside.
I'm not doing anything else but that if I'm Illinois. I can throw it to Hill. Hill and Maverick Morgan have to be the two guys. This is sweet. Watch this. He comes out to set a ball screen right here. You see, but he's faking. He's spinning around. You're seeing Bender right here. He's going to spin back around. This is a set. Now he screens and dives. And Morgan has to help. The defense is spread. Nobody there. Nice set by Mark Turgeon in Maryland.
Bender, of course, the younger brother of Dragan Bender, the number 4 pick by the Phoenix Suns in the draft a season ago. Interesting story in how he's become assimilated to American culture. Watching the movie, actually the show Friends and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to learn English. That's the way they do it nowadays.
I watch Friends for Jennifer Aniston. He's trying to learn English. We're all trying to learn something from Friends.
I'm kind of a Carlton guy, you know.
Sure, doing the dance.
Abrams, not sure where he's trying to get to, got trapped. Boy, he took out his do-it-yourself kit and made the bucket.
Hey, that's strength right there. He wouldn't have been able to do that a few years ago, but he is so strong in his upper body that he was able to split it, find it, and bank it in.
Just 1 of 8 from the field. Still within striking range, Illinois, down by 14. Jackson, nice feed inside to Herder.
Herder set a little back screen, and same thing. He set a back screen, made himself available. For you coaches out there, this is a clinic to show your kids, if you're the screener, you're going to score points. Maryland has scored a ton of points from the guy setting the screen.
Herder with a nice little duck in down there for the layup. Trimble with the board, and in a hurry. The Mellow Fellow with the bucket. Mellow Trimble working Illinois like a part-time job right now.
He goes past Morgan. He goes into Hill for the three-point play. That's an All-American right there, Mark.
$18-point lead for Maryland as Dan, we go inside the play. What do you got?
67% in the second half. Most of them are this. See this Herder right here? Watch what he's going to do. He's going to set a screen. Now, do you help? What do? Well, you step in after you screen, you spin off of it. I'm telling you, Maryland does as good a job as you're going to find at setting screens and then rewarding the screener with a pass. This has been a clinic, whether it was a cross screen right there or the high ball screen and deliver. Fantastic by Maryland.
Mark Turgeon and his staff doing a great job. Assistants Cliff Warren, Dustin Clark. A 19-point advantage. Inside and a foul. Going to go against Maryland and LG Gill. Well, folks, our bowl quadruple header continuing tonight right here on ESPN. Minnesota against Washington State in the National Funding Holiday Bowl at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then we wrap up the day with the Boise State Baylor game in the Motel 6 Cactus Bowl at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. Both games streamed live and on the app and on Watch ESPN.
Can I give you a boy?
Please do. Mello had it knocked away. Good hustle by Illinois.
Really good Tate. Yeah, because you're talking about Mello Trimble, who's as good in the open court as anybody. Tate reached in, got the ball.
Hill kicks it out to Tate. Nice extra pass. And another errant jump shot by Williams this time. Whistle out of bounds. It'll stay, finding a Illini ball, but boy, Jalen Brantley getting on the deck that time.
Yeah, he got knocked into. Watch Coleman right here, knock Brantley, boom! And the crowd, a lot of guys standing up with their arms spread out here on the crowd, wondering why. Not a foul, but hey, it's Big Ten basketball. We're not calling every little touch. Or maybe
this one's going to come back the other way, yeah.
Hey, can I tell you something?
Please do.
Lock of the year in college football. Take Washington State tonight. I don't even care the point. As long as the points are under like 50. Washington State's going to win by 1,000 tonight in football. There you go.
What do you know that I don't know?
I like Mike Leach a lot. He's one of my favorites.
Mello becoming the house favorite here. continuing to play well, now leading by 21.
Okay, where do you help? Like, you're setting this high ball screen. You've helped in different spots, and the guard, whether it's Trimble or Brantley, have found everybody else. So now nobody knows where to help. You stay with your man, you give up a layup.
Double team on Hill. They try to take the ball out of his hands. 10 on the shot clock. Tate on the drive. Had to force one up. Good defense by Maryland.
I want to go back to Gill's name, LG. Little Gill. So his name is Gill Gill?
Yeah. No.
Little Gill Gill.
He's named after his dad, Charles Sr. But he stands for Little Gill. They're going to call a walk on that.
So LG's
His name is,
nickname.
yeah, I guess, you know what? His given name is Charles, so he's Junior, actually.
Okay.
Junior Gill, but LG kind of sounds funky, you know? LG.
What up, LG?
L. Hey, L. L. Right?
And like I said, everybody sees you, they go, what up, OG? So
I tell you what, he's been pretty good tonight.
He's been really good. He is huge. Him coming on, again, he averaged 10 points a game at Duquesne last year. He needs to be a real player for Maryland.
Boy, and Tracy Abrams continues to struggle from the field. Just 1 of 9. And his toughest shooting night of the night. Pretty good crowd on hand here, despite the fact that the Maryland students not yet back in school. Amongst those attending tonight, a group of high school players all the way from the state of Florida to watch the Terps. Assistant coach Garfield Smith, class of 1992, played here at Maryland. One of the honorary captains for tonight's game.
Drafted by the Celtics, played with the Conquistadors of San Diego.
Nice drive and bucket and a 9-0 run for Maryland. Anthony Cowan continuing to be a catalyst.
You like Cowan?
Yes.
Yeah. Not much not to like, at least certainly in this game.
There are freshmen, Dan, who can come in and show a lot of poise. Unlike that shot right there by Coleman Lands. An early jack in the shot clock. As we approach 12 minutes to go, and Illinois really leaking a lot of oil right now. Concern coming to the ball game. And without the two bigs, Tchaikovsky and Dodd, that Maryland might be in trouble, but not with LG. LG stands for living good.
Hey, when you hustle and you do all the little things, sometimes the big things find you in basketball. He's done a lot of good stuff, Mark. He's been on the backboard, and all of a sudden, just playing allows you to use your athletic ability, and you see LG like an OG.
Football playoff semifinals on ESPN Saturday. The first one is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Number 4 Washington battling number 1 Alabama. Then at 7, it's number 3 Ohio State against number 2 Clemson in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app and also on Watch ESPN. I had Washington earlier in the year.
Yeah.
They've got some very good team speed defensively.
They big enough?
Jake, I'm not sure they're deep enough. But Jake Browning is a very skilled quarterback who can buy enough time under a little bit of pass rush that Alabama's expected to put on him.
Well, I gave you one lock, Washington State. I'm going to give you 2 more.
Going to give me your special next?
Oh, Alabama and Ohio State for national championship. And Ohio State's going to win another one.
There goes the drama. Spoiler alert. Corner jump shot, a little bit strong. Finke's line drive way off. Nickens walk with it. 11.5 to go. What's Illinois thinking right now, Dan, in terms of just trying to get back? I'm not sure at this point it might be a stretch to say that you're playing to win still. Is it something else that's become the goal now?
Well,
I mean, you're down 25.
Yeah, they just did what you should do. They just got a good look. Finke shot, 3-point shot, is the left-hand corner, and they got him a good look, and they're going to go and run their stuff. Here's the problem for Illinois. This is the first true road game of the year for Illinois. They've played some games on neutral courts. Everything else was at home. I don't know that that's great. You know, I don't. It's a way college basketball goes right now. And, you know, people don't want to play true road games. But, you know, you come out here, it's the first time you're away, hostile crowd. Next thing you know, you're getting beat by 25. It's something you need to look at.
It's going to be a traveling violation against Illinois. See, they had lost 3 in a row, and a lot of, you know, neutral site games.
And those are great. You know, those are fine.
Tough tests against West Virginia and Florida State.
I mean, if you really look at it, Mark, the 2 teams that they've played that are pretty good, they got blown out by them.
Dwayne Bacon lit them up for 17. Florida State game. 3-ball good. Maryland has made their last 8 shots in a row.
Well, there hasn't been anything that Illinois has been able to do defensively to make Maryland uncomfortable. The zone didn't make them uncomfortable. Man-to-man certainly hasn't.
Finke with the jump shot. Meanwhile, the last one to the other end by Maryland was Dion Wiley with the 3. But that Finke jumper snapped a 14-0 run by the Terps. Brantley off the Bender ball screen. He set a good one and rolls. And Bender will go to the free throw line. His older brother Dragan plays for the Phoenix Suns. And speaking of the Big Ten, Eric Gordon, formerly of Indiana, now with the Rockets. He might have had one of the dunks of the year on Bender's little brother yesterday. It was pretty impressive.
Eric Gordon, I coached him the year he was in Indiana. And let me put it this way. If Eric Gordon hadn't battled so many injuries, I think we're talking about numerous all-star games at this point, and I think he's showing it this year, right?
Yeah, sure is. And his Hoosiers playing well amongst the favorites to win the conference title this year, alongside Purdue and Wisconsin. Boy, that is a high-arcing free throw by Bender. From Bosnia and Herzegovina. Nice move inside, but no finish by Abrams. Now 1 of 10 from the field. Wide open corner 3 good by Dion Wiley, a 38% three-point shooter. Can't leave him open. And they turn it over again. 3-on-1. Wiley with a long 2.
That's what Mark Turgeon really did want. That was a layup. That was a bad decision, but pretty good defense by Brantley right there.
You see that happen a lot these days, Dan.
Yeah.
Guys run to the three-point line instead of hitting that foul line extended and cutting 45 degrees to the hoop.
Yeah, you know, the previous possession, Wiley, this is something else in college and pro basketball. 2 guys run down now the same side. Used to be you ran left, I ran right. Now the first guy down runs to the corner. The second guy runs to the same wing. So now you're overloading a side. It's a pretty good move. Wow. It's tough to stop, and Wiley got the 3 the previous possession from doing just that.
29-point lead for Maryland. A complete performance. Jackson and a little sumo wrestling underneath between Bender and Mike Thorne. You can't call it anything else. That foul is going to go against Thorne. There's a great story in the Washington Post a couple of days ago on Bender and Tchaikovsky, a couple of guys that often spend their Sundays getting together and going grocery shopping, getting fresh ingredients. There's Tchaikovsky. He's contemplating his next outing in the kitchen.
Yeah, he wasn't very excited about his buddy going to the line.
They cook every Sunday. There's a native dish that they usually fix, and sometimes send out a group text and have some of the players and even members of the coaching staff have dropped in on them to get a bite.
Well, you always got to be careful if you're a coach taking food from a player, because if he hadn't played as much as he wanted to the previous game.
Oh, no, Dan. Can't do it. They wouldn't do that, would they?
A lot of times I played for Coach Knight. I wouldn't have mind slipping something.
Here, Coach, here's this burger I cooked for you.
Coach, let me see your...
Finke looking inside. Thorne steps out. Bender not even going to contest him.
Right, that's bad business. Thorne can't play on top because Bender's an immediate double on the post.
Whistle, contact underneath, and a foul. Going to go against Bender. He's perplexed. Actually, you can call that on Nickens. As Abrams is going to get a breather. I wouldn't be surprised if John Gross shuts him down for the rest of the game. I mean,
there's a
couple, down 29.
Yeah, but you want him to make a bucket or two just to, feel decent coming out of here. He's been, Tracy Abrams, such a big part of Illinois' start. He's such a great kid. Sure, he's struggling, but you would like to see him get a bucket, I would think, before he gets out of here from somewhere in three-point line.
Finke on the block. And Bender clears, one and done at the offensive end for Illinois.
One of the things, even though they're smaller, and maybe because they're smaller, Maryland has not given an inch when the ball has gone into the post. Most of these shots have been fadeaways, other than Maverick Morgan going to the rim.
Trimble with the elbow jumper. Boy, they ran it out of some pretty good action. Hill inside to Thorne. Feels bodies and Benders and gets the bucket.
And let Bender know, too. As you said earlier, personal, down 27. He didn't care. That was personal. That was me against you. I don't care the score.
That ends an 18-3 run by Melo Trimble and Maryland. That's going to be the fourth foul, meanwhile, against Coleman Lance.
Hey, you and I were talking earlier. As the NBA season moves along, you made an interesting point. I was asking you who the best team is you thought in the NBA. Who'd you think?
The Clippers were amongst that group.
You said the Clippers were there.
If they stay healthy.
Yeah. You like them. You think they can go 7 games with
I think
Golden
they can
State?
battle. If everyone's right, if Griffin comes back and Chris Paul stays right, they're right in the mix. They have some great motion sets and see a lot of ball movement, player movement. Chris Paul had a game this year with 20 points, 20 assists, and 0 turnovers. That's what guys like Melo Trimble aspire to do at the next level. Cross-court skip pass. That jumper is straight with no arc on it. Again from Finke. It's been all Maryland from the opening tip. They lead by 29 when we come back. National football semifinals, Washington, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. And, I love what Jalen Hurts has done this year as a freshman at Alabama. I still got a problem just going back a little bit with Ohio State actually being in the semifinal. I just thought, Penn State, Wisconsin deserved it more. You don't win a conference championship. They basically said conference championships don't matter.
I think they said conference championships don't matter if you go out and play really good teams at their place. Meaning Ohio State went to Oklahoma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not buying it.
Nah. Sorry, bro.
I'm so biased, though. Urban's a friend.
Yeah.
I think they should be.
Yeah, I understand
They should be in every year.
I get it.
Regardless of
every year. Lead down to 27.
If I was Penn State, I would have a huge problem with that. You beat them, and you won the league. That would be a real problem. James Franklin, great job, huh?
Outstanding work. Here's Trimble out top, guarded by Hill. Jackson on the block, got that 7'3" wingspan, and used all of it on the left-handed lane.
He just gave Finke the business.
Put him in the blender here, Dan.
This is what they say. Sweet. He gives him the business right here. A little up, but Hoya. How's your father with the left hand right there? That was nice. That's a freshman that's going to do big things. I hope, because he's got to develop an outside game. I hope as the season goes on he does, and then has to make a choice on the NBA, because if he can improve his outside game, he is an NBA guy.
Putting a lot of work in the last couple of days trying to break out of a shooting slump. Trimble on the drive, high off glass.
I told you earlier, Mark, great layup shooter. Great layup shooter. A lot of guys aren't. He is.
Came back for his junior season and trying to make it count. And you would think it might be a little bit of a gamble for him to come back when you look at the fact that he probably knew he was going to be playing alongside a bunch of inexperienced players that hadn't gotten a lot of burn, as Thorne gets the bucket for Illinois. Meanwhile, Illinois trying to avoid their lowest scoring game of the season, which was 57 against West Virginia. When you play against Bob Huggins teams, you're going to come out of it with some bruises and a much lower field goal percentage. Trimble inside for Bender. Bender wasn't ready for it. Hill back for Illinois. Finke. They trapped him, and a foul going to go against Maryland's Anthony Cowan. That's his first personal with just under 6 minutes to go here in the second half. Maryland looking for its 13th win of the season against just one loss. That one loss coming against Pitt.
I'll put you on the spot here. You mind?
Go ahead.
How are you with the man bun?
Whatever works for you during the game, I'm good with.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good with it. Now, it's like Mac Brown, our colleague at ESPN, once told me. 2 players came into his office. One of them was Ricky Williams with his dreads. The other cat didn't have dreads. And Mac Brown said, "Son, I've seen Ricky's tape. He can keep his dreads. You're going to need a job. You need a haircut." Sometimes it depends. If you get what I'm saying there, Dan.
No, there are levels. I think that I have a fundamental problem with people that have great hair.
Cowan on the drive. Took the hit on the play from Lucas, who just checked in. Tijon Lucas, the freshman out of Milwaukee.
I think great hair should always be respected. And those of you out there that don't have hair like me, you understand what I'm saying. And if you can grow it down to your rear end and bun it up, I'm good with that, because when you don't have it, you would love to be able to do that, Mark.
The frohawk is a big thing right now, but I think the low fade has become extinct on it.
I don't understand that either, because it's a nice, clean look. I do the wraparound.
29-point game, and Lucas was trying to lob it up top.
You know, the one thing that Maryland has really done a good job of, they have done a tremendous job of jamming up the lane. There have been very few times where an Illinois player goes down the lane and isn't challenged.
I'll tell you what, that young man right there, Malcolm Hill, has continued to play hard, Dan.
There's never going to be a problem between him and Maverick Morgan. Those are 2 mature kids that have been through stuff. They're going to play. They're going to compete 30 down. Malcolm Hill is just a really good player, and Illinois is going to be okay. They just ran into a bad night.
Herder still looking to hit the scoreboard. Actually, no, he has 1 field goal. Lucas on the horn set. Black straight away, yes.
Well, Lucas is giving him a little bit. At least he's giving him a little bit of push. He's giving him a little bit of energy.
And they're 7 points away from at least tying their lowest output of the season. Little teaching moment for Coach Turgeon when we come back. And Nigel Hayes making a nice decision to come back and play another year at Wisconsin. Saw him at the NBA Combine last year as we check out the Dakich Index.
Well, this isn't in order. We're just giving you a little precursor of what's to come. Indiana, 2 great wins, couple tough losses. Butler got him, but Butler's really good. I love what Northwestern's doing. I just do. They are 1 shot away from having beaten Butler at Butler. You mentioned Nigel Hayes, but let's not forget Bronson Koenig and Ethan Happ are tremendous. And Vito Brown can shoot the basketball. And Rutgers, I don't even know how to say the coach's last name.
Pikiell. Yep.
Steve Pikiell has turned that around to this point, and here's what I mean by that. I don't feel between Mike Rice and Eddie Jordan they had a professional coach in there. Mike Rice was a little too crazy. Eddie Jordan was a little too disinterested. Pikiell has come in and given them a professional coach. They rebound, they defend. They're 20 points less this year, giving up defensively. 81 last year, 60 this year. I'm anxious to see how they do. I think Steve Pikiell is going to do a terrific job there, Mark.
Yeah, I saw them earlier this year in a game against Miami down in Coral Gables, Florida. And they guard people very well, as you mentioned. Trimble tripped up in a foul called against the Illini. And going back to his days at Stony Brook, Pikiell did a fantastic job there, too, getting his team to the America East Championship game and winning. And they are up next against number 14, Wisconsin.
This is going to be an interesting night. Michigan State is an underdog at Minnesota. Minnesota has had a tremendous non-conference season. Miles Bridges, the lottery pick for Michigan State, still out. Nick Ward, big kid, has been terrific, but injuries have decimated the front line of Michigan State. But you never count Izzo's teams out, Mark.
I never thought I'd see the day, Dan, where Tom Izzo apologized for his early season schedule like he did last month.
Well, when you look at all the travel they did, they went to great places and played terrific games and all that, but he didn't know Gavin Schilling was going to be out. He didn't know the Carter kid who transferred from Nevada was going to be out.
A whistle and a traveling violation underneath against Maverick Morgan. With just under 4.5 minutes to go here in the conference opener for both visiting Illinois and Maryland. It's been all Maryland from the opening tip. Mark Jones chopping it up with Dan Dakich as Maryland looks for its 6th win in a row. Tonight playing without a couple of bigs. Michael Tchaikovsky and DeMonte Dodd both out with injuries. Anytime you can win in this conference without a couple of your key cogs, it's good news. Trimble. Cowan with the floater. Boy, that thing stayed on the rim for a long time before falling. Malcolm Hill will go to the line. And we take another timeout. We'll be back right after this. Doing some good work. 32 points between them. And Dan, more importantly and impressively, very efficient in their shooting.
If you screen and you make yourself available when Melo, Trimble, Anthony Cowan have the basketball, or Jalen Brantley have the basketball, you're going to get the ball, and that makes offense so much easier because nobody's sulking. Everybody knows they're going to get a chance. And you know what? You said it earlier, Mark. It was a risk for Melo Trimble to come back because of how young the kids around him were going to be. But, man, he has taken over the leadership and done a great job for Maryland.
Yeah, assistant coach Cliff Warren in particular has done an outstanding job with Trimble and Cowan.
Well, when you watch a shoot-around or you watch a pregame, they work hard. Like, this is a very organized staff that is based on improvement. And it doesn't matter if it's 45 minutes before the game. We saw Trimble out here 2 hours before the game working on one-handed shooting with coaches. That's a very, very good staff right there.
There's Warren on the left, former assistant coach with Paul Hewitt at Georgia Tech, and then the former head coach at Jacksonville University. Brantley out top running the show. Trimble in a ball game. And, you know, Maryland has the versatility of playing. Look what they have on the floor right now. Basically 3-point guards, Dan.
Right, and they all can run off screens on the baseline.
Cowan. Oh, he put it on a platter but couldn't finish. Another possession, though, for the Terps. And finally, Brantley cashes in with the 3-ball.
And we need to talk about Brantley. Brantley's been terrific. He hustled from the get-go, got 3 baskets in the first half off of just straight hustling, and he has come back with a couple threes as well. That's what you're supposed to do when you come off the bench at a program like Maryland. You're supposed to add something to it, not just be a guy that gets you through 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, ranked the number 12 JUCO player in America by one scouting service. Brantley on the wing. You know, Brantley's mom named him Jalen after Jalen Rose of Fab 5 fame.
She just misspelled it.
Got to be a little unique. Quite good defense that time by Illinois. Under 2.5 minutes to go, a whistle and a foul. We're just talking about Jalen Brantley. Over the last 5 games, played pretty well, averaging over 8 points per game.
Again, when you play at a Maryland and you come from a junior college, you have a choice to make. You're playing with really good players, so you have a choice to make. You're not playing as much maybe as you want. You can either complain about it or go to work and just contribute, and that's exactly what Brantley has done, and good for him.
Yeah, he's done a great job this year taking care of the basketball in particular. Just 6 turnovers in the 12 games while averaging almost 20 minutes per as Coach Turgeon clears out his bench now. With 2:22 to go, this game pretty much cooked, glazed, and ready to be sliced. Trimble, the catalyst.
Do you think Melo Trimble is an NBA point guard?
I do.
Do you?
I do, especially with his ability to score and attack.
Do you think Malcolm Hill is an NBA wing guy? Or two
I think
guys?
he needs a little bit more of a fit, per se. So I can see that happening for him. Trimble in particular, got to be able to be that type of point guard that can create and get your own. Nice drive by Lucas.
Tell you what, Lucas has done pretty well here. You know, if you're going to talk about a bright spot, Lucas has come in and given really good energy. He's defended pretty well, except for here.
Lucas playing 10 games in a backup role, averaging about 10 minutes per.
Referees have a flag.
Yeah, really. Herder up court for Maryland. Nickens not shy.
That's not big in this game. Obviously, the game's been over for a long time. But Mickens making shots is going to be massive because he has a pretty stroke. Just hasn't been very consistent.
Mark Turgeon had spoken about his team shooting too many threes several games ago, and they've gotten a bit more balanced in terms of their shot selection. Under a minute to go, 83-56. Don't forget, coming up next, Rutgers, one of the pleasant surprises this year, taking on Wisconsin. What about the great job that Chris Collins is doing at Northwestern? We were talking about them a little bit earlier. They were hit with a key injury earlier, but have kept going, and he's doing an outstanding job coaching this year.
I was talking to Chris Holtman, the coach at Butler, and he said, you know, of all the teams that we're watching, and he said this the other day too, he said they are the most diverse offensively. They run more stuff, more good stuff through a variety of people than anybody that they've played over the last couple years.
Well, this one's done, and Maryland is going to improve to 13-1, and a late foul by Black, and Brantley takes exception to it. You can certainly understand LeRon Black's frustration at this point.
Well, we saw it at Iowa. Fran McCaffrey and et al. Didn't want to shake hands after, but hey, look, I never fault anybody for playing to the end. I don't. I mean, look, if you want to go get a steal at the end, if the other team's not playing, good for you. Go do it.
Well, some guys practice too hard. They want to make the most out of their floor time when it counts. As Brantley misses the first free throw, and Ron Black going to come out of the ball game. Coach Rose pulls him. You know, I always hear coaches say, Dan, better to have to turn a guy down than have to turn him up.
1,000%. And you know who should have been the happiest about that foul? Brantley. He got to go to the free throw line. Add to his point total. What's he complaining about?
7 seconds to go. Illinois going to fall to 10-4. And Lucas will get a chance to cap things off at the free throw line with 1.4 to go.
Well, Happy New Year to you, Mark.
Yeah, you too,
Fun
buddy.
to see you.
Great working with you again. Sure we'll get a chance to chop it up again sometime in March as the season winds down. Remember, Maryland defeated Illinois last year 81-55 here in College Park, so they'll make it 2 in a row after Illinois had won the previous 3 games in this series. And I want to say from all of us to all of you, season's greetings and Happy New Year coming up in 2017. May all your shots hit nothing but net, folks. Once again, our final score, Maryland 84, Illinois 59. Don't forget, coming up next, more Big Ten action for you as the season opens in earnest. Rutgers taking on Wisconsin. For Dan Dakich, I'm Mark Jones saying so long from Maryland. Right now, let's send it back to the studio. Guys, take it away.